Flightline by Tappet. Flightline was hands down the greatest horse I've ever seen. You look at that perfect record, 6 for 6, 4 grade ones, and the highest dirt rating of all time. How about his first book of mares? We're talking more than 50 grade 1 winners or grade 1 producers, and they averaged well over $1 million in full. A new high mark for an incoming stallion in the last 15 years. There's some real rock stars in that group. Bar of Gold, who won the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. The Brood Mare of the Year, Little Princess Emma, that brought us American Pharoah. Kentucky Oaks winners, Lemons Forever, plus champion Starship Jubilee and Blue Stripe, who was a Group 1 star in Argentina and a Grade 1 winner here. That's just to name a few. He also led every incoming stallion by Class Performance Index. That's essentially the caliber of his mares. Then you see his weanlings. They sold for up to $1.3 million and will be catching his first yearlings in 2025. I have a feeling these conversations will show how excited everyone is about Flightline, because frankly, I don't see how you can't be. John, obviously in my lifetime, the most sensational racehorse I've ever seen is Flightline. What is it that made him so special? And what is it that you have your fingers crossed will pass on to his offspring?
What I think made Flightline so special is, you know, he had a body of a Ferrari and he had an engine of about 10 Ferraris in him. You know, he just was brilliant from day one. He had speed and he could carry it any distance. He would have set more track records had we let him. But we didn't need to do that because he's winning every race so easily. I've watched horse racing my whole life, and to me, he's as good as any horse that's ever run, and certainly the best in a long, long time. I've seen some of his offspring, his weanlings. They're very good looking. They got a big hip. They got a smart eye, big shoulder. Everywhere I went, people were raving about him. I saw them in September. And, you know, we're kind of creeping along. Next year, there'll be yearlings. Year after that, they'll be at the races. So it's really, you know, this is just, you know, a level above type horse. So it'll be fun when his horses get to the track.
David, I can't think of too many horses I've been more excited than I am to see their offspring run than Flightline. I've had a lot of fan favorites along the way. I've had a lot of horses that I've loved, horses tattooed on my arm. I've never been more excited about seeing what Flightline is going to produce. What do you see? What do you think? And what are you hoping for?
So through yesterday in the last month, I think I've saw 30 Flightline foals. And look, not all geese are swan, but I can't really pick one apart. And even the most plain Jane one is a good one. And the best ones are what you'd be expecting. So what does that mean? It means Flightline's doing his job. He's taking his physical and planning it on his offspring. And they all have this little glint in their eye that he had that just, you know, there's something about him. It's going to be very exciting to see all these horses develop. It's going to be awesome to see them at the yearling sales. And then, you know, my favorite thing of everything is racing these horses. I mean, that, you know, everybody knows me. I want to see how fast they can go around in a circle. And I'm really looking forward to getting these horses under tack, getting them in trainers' hands, you know, trying to go buy them next year. We bought a couple babies by them already. We bought 2 at the auction and 1 privately. 2 of the 3 will probably go racing. 1 may be offered for resale. And, you know, I want to get my hands on as many to have them looking through our webbings of our trainers we deal with, because, you know, it's exciting is an overused word, but that's just what it is. I mean, I lose kind of – I can talk, and sometimes when I'm talking about him, I just lose what I want to say. But he's pretty special. He's done everything we've asked. The book of mares in his second crop was very good as his first crop. We're going to the 3rd year. Nobody's losing any faith in him. We're booking up solid. You know, it's just curating his book and keeping him getting the right mares. And, you know, when we get down to yearling sale time, we're going to read a lot about Flightline, because I think a lot of other people feel the same way that we do.
David, pick one attribute of Flightline that he had, and it doesn't have to be on the racetrack. It could be his disposition. It could be his physical. It could be a piece of his pedigree that gets you excited. What's the one attribute about him that you think led to what we all got to witness and what in my lifetime was the most special racehorse I've ever seen?
You know, like any athlete, you can have talent, but if you don't have it between the ears, whether human or horse, you know, all that talent could go to waste. So what made Flightline probably as brilliant as, you know, as his ability was his mind. And that is something I'm seeing in the foals. All the foals are well behaved. You know, he's imparting that mind on them. And I know a lot of the mares, and I know what maybe their weaknesses were. So I'm seeing that in the babies. But his mind, you couldn't do what he did if you didn't have that mind.
Flavian, you had a chance to sit on the most special four-legged animal I've ever seen. Tell me what it was like to ride Flightline.
It was just like him, very special. He was very athletic. He was fast, and he had great stamina. Just the whole package, and a great mind too. He was very very great mind. As he got experience, and as the race went on, he just got better, I think.
What are some of the traits that you're hopeful that the little Flightline babies have?
Well, hopefully he was very, like I say, he was very athletic and he had good speed and very, very quick. I think when he won the Breeders' Cup Classic, I think that day he could have won the sprint or the mile if he had to run one of those races. So I just tell you how much speed he had, and he was just carrying it. So yeah, hopefully, you know, just the speed and the great mind that he had too.
Yeah, it's funny with Flightline. You know, he had those sensational performances in races like the Malibu, in races like the Met Mile, in which he had a pretty tough trip in there, I thought, and then on to like the Pacific Classic and the Classic. Did he feel different in those races around one turn versus the 1.25 mile races, or is that what made him special? Is that he was basically the same horse no matter what he was doing?
I think once he got to 1.25 miles, that's where he got to his peak. I don't know. It's because he had a few races under his belt and more experience, but it definitely felt like he was. I mean, the margin was even better going 1.25 miles. So I'm not sure if it's just because he was a better horse 1.25 miles or because he was just getting experience and with races under his belt, he was just getting that good.
I haven't been around this game forever, but I've been around it long enough to know that this is without a doubt the most exciting first-year sire that I've ever been excited for. Flightline was sensational, the best racehorse I've ever seen on the racetrack, and I cannot wait to see what he does in the breeding shed. And it sounds like he's going to get off to a pretty hot start.
In his first crop of mares, he had 50 Grade 1 winners or producers in his first crop. So I just think that we've given him the best shot we can give him, but the offspring that I've seen so far, they've just got so much class to them. Strong top, well formed, good bone, and he had so much class to him. When he came to the farm at first, they said that he was going to have that he needed a padded stall at the track because he gets so high strung about going out to train. Well, we went and padded a stall for him, and he's never touched it. He came to the farm, he just took a deep breath, and he's like, all right, this is my new gig. And he comes out, he stands up, he pricks his ears, he loves the attention, and he just has that look of just class to him.